Hello and welcome to this World Anvil video. My name is Guy and today we're going to be looking at the template spells. Let me get out of the way here. So spells, magical incantations, rituals, psionics and superpowers. Oh, wonderful, 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 wonderful. But while that page loads, I'm going to talk to you about what I do is I automatically ask my players when they start playing the game, what's the color of your magic? So they have to really own it and make it themselves. Often they go, well, what do you mean, what's the color of my magic? It's a magic color. Is that octarine? I don't know. You tell me. Now, when it comes to spells, there is a spell that has sat in my mind since I first saw it in 1989, 1990, somewhere there. And that is the incantation Anal Nadrach. It's gone on my head. Anal Nadrach oth bath bethud doth del denve. Anal Nadrach uth verth bethud doth del denve. That is an incantation that was muttered by Merlin in the 1987 film Excalibur, and it stuck with me since then. Now, I wrote down what it actually means. Serpent's breath, charm of death and life, thy omen of making. Of course, the phrasing, Anal Nadrach, uth verth bethud, all of that was Old Gaelic, as the scriptwriter had found it, but it created this amazing spell that allowed Merlin to do all sorts of wonderful and weird things. So this is something that you can certainly add. Make it feel real, make it come alive, make it your own. Now, of course, there's the effects, the side effects, the manifestations, the sources, the related deity or higher power that kind of gives it its ability, who discovered it, where did it come from. All of that can certainly be added in to make these spells really come alive. And if we look at modern literature, there are certain spells that are associated with wizards. Of course, they never existed. Mordenkainen is one of those. Tasha is another, where spells have been named after these individuals that come from literature and have been incorporated, I suppose, into the modern day psyche. Now, you can fill all of this in. What you need to do, though, is you need to think in your head the system. How does magic work in your head? How does it work in your setting? How does it work in your world? So what are the rules and what are the laws as to your magic spell? What allows them to happen? And that should influence how you fill in this information. So is it something that relies on drawing power from the earth and that you need to have attuned with the earth by having spent time there, or that you have a small token from the earth? Is it something like that? Is it perhaps something more ethereal? Is it mathematical equations? So what are the rules about that? And then how do you express that in writing the spell out? So if it's a mathematical spell, is the effect perhaps that it might be a ball of light, but that it's a series of numbers that are floating around one another, covered in magical energy? Is it just the number 8 that comes up because it kind of looks like a light bulb? I don't know. That's up to you, though. So I would look firstly at what its laws are. How does magic work? I would then say that you need to look at the function of it. What is its function within your space? So is it to give players the ability to do certain things that with their characters that they couldn't normally do? Is it to overcome certain plot points? Is it the big spell that needs to be found and is the central core idea of your novel? Is it a ability that the superhero has? What is its function within your narrative structure? Is it a detriment? Is it a positive? Is it a curse? Is it a racial ability? Is it the power to mind meld? How does it work within your space? How does the spell function within your narrative space? And then finally, I always look at the limits. What are the limits to this magical power? Can it be pushed further? Can it be extended? Can it be added to? Can it be amplified? Is there a crystal that could be found that if you focus all the power on the crystal shoots out the energy tenfold? What are the limits of that magic? So I would constrain it by having limits. And to be perfectly honest with you, we've often seen when superheroes' superpowers become so super that they become super silly, we start to get stuck in a supercilious sentence. We start to get stuck in a space where the hero can no longer be defeated. So there's no longer any sense of drama, there's no longer a sense of any danger, there's no longer any sense of reading or continuing along with the story. We really don't want that to happen. We want our narrative to have that element of failure. So creating limits, I think, is very, very important. And of course, with that in mind, so you've got your laws, you've got your function, and then you've got your limits, you can then fill out in great detail everything that you want on your spell, or spells for that matter. Do you want phrases? Is it items? Is it objects? What is it that they need in order to create it? Anyway, those are my thoughts on how to advance and push spells to the very next level and make them your own. Until next time, light up the forge.